Hey guys, it's Steve with Clean Mesh Studio, and today we're going to be going over this little scene I've got going, and I'm going to add in the new river generator that is from blendermarket.com. It's really cool. So we'll go over this. I'll show you how I dropped it into my scene and then actually blended the colors with the shader workspace to kind of match that, and then I took some of the resources from the actual drop-in because the guy's got like a curve tool kind of drop-in thing going on. It's not a real add-on just yet, and no, I don't make any money off of this thing. It's just a tutorial to show you guys what's possible if you haven't seen it yet. It is cool. So real-time river generator, let's jump right in. Go ahead and smash that subscribe and hit that like if you want more good content. Alright, so the first thing I did, obviously, was I bought it. It's 10 bucks. I think it's really worth it, though, because it shows a lot of potential, and then maybe it's going to cost more later. You never know. It's a really good add-on. So once I downloaded that, I just go to the append, wherever you got to go. You can go to File and Append. Then just find out where you downloaded it, and I've got the river generator right here. And there's a lot of stuff going on in here, but just for now, I go to the object folder and the river curve, pick up the top view, and I'll just kind of bring the mouth of the river like right there, and then hit 1 G and Z probably to bring it up. Shame on me for not having my screencast keys on. So now that I've got that there, if you know anything about curves, you do have to jump into edit mode with the curve selected, and then you can start grabbing the vertices. And so I'll just grab this one little vertex point, and you see you can move the river around. It's pretty crazy. So then I could just hit R to rotate that around a little bit, and I will grab this point if it lets me. A little tedious, but I think it's overall a really good design, a really good setup. And then I've got my river running directly into it. And so just for now, I just drop out of edit mode and kind of maybe rotate that little and bring it up. Still kind of working on this thing, right? So jump back into edit mode with this. Yeah, I think it's really cool. And procedurally, like, you're not gonna find a whole lot out there that can just hit the ground running, especially with all the foam and stuff it has on the sides. There's the one I want right there, hiding. There we go. So I can just leave it something like that going across my terrain, and it comes with a bunch of rocks. So I just kind of can bring those up and maybe use a couple more of them. Don't want too many of those in the scene, really. They seem kind of high poly, so I'm just gonna get rid of... Am I using that one? No, I'm not using that one. So delete that. And now, if I hit 0, where I've got my camera set up, and jump over into cycles, and we'll check this thing out. And that river generator is pretty cool. It adds a really nice look to the overall scene. And so I've got a lot of geometry nodes and other stuff in here. But if I was to switch this to my timeline and hit play, well, here's the cool part. This thing will play real time, and it'll play in cycles too. But you can see what's going on there. That looks really good. So if you were going to use that for an animation, I think that it turns out really nice. Now, obviously, I haven't finished my simulation up here with the water. I do have it baked out to about the point where it touches down. And so then I just went over to the shading workspace. And I'll just click free on the physics for now. And come back down to the water. And you can do this a bunch of different ways. Sure, you could figure that out, but so I just took the general color of the water and then the shader, and I went into the transparency, and kind of just blend these two together. So maybe it's a little bit darker like that. I'd really like that not to pop up right there. Maybe I'll bring it over here. There we go. So something a little bit darker. There we go. It looks pretty close. And then when I rebake that, it looks almost the same color. It doesn't have to be. This can be a little bit lighter because it hasn't obviously hit the ground yet. So however you want to do it. Alright, so I rebaked that just for a little bit of clarity. I'll jump over to cycles. Alright, so now at this point, this is not necessarily like a true add-on, but it is a geometry node, and he's got some outputs for us to look at. And if I jump into the geometry nodes workspace, we can just take a quick look at what he's got going on.
We've got some resample curves, obviously. Got recast, and he's got his main input-output node. Taking advantage of some collections. And then let's tab into this and see what we got. Nice little set position, resample curve. And I'm just going to buzz through this real quick. Anyhow, I wouldn't want to try to make all this myself and go in, and then his scale setup, pretty simple. Other than that, though, it is pretty complex. It's well set up. Something I'm sure he's going to be working on. Domain size curve greater than... Yeah, okay, so cool.
Anyhow, like I said, he's got the outputs over here for the rock scale. So you can kind of go up and down with the scale. And then the density. So it's got a scatter built in, which is superb. So if I wanted to put that to 0, then that's what I got. Now I'll jump over to cycles again. And let's see. It almost doesn't look too good without the extra rocks in there, but it's okay. And then you've got a seed value for what looks like the rocks and maybe the foam a little bit. And then we've got the color. You can change the color if you want it to be a blood river, or you want it to be like this nice icy setup, and you can change the foam color too. You can make a nice toxic background if you wanted to. I don't know why that's nice, but you can change it. And so you can scale the river down, which is crazy. You can make it a lot wider. I guess I can match that geometry too good. And then you can change the speed, which I am excited to try that right now. So I'll hit play, and let's mess around with that speed. Is it actually going in reverse? It's going in reverse if you put it in the negative. So that's fantastic. That way you can kind of go either way. It doesn't matter if you have the flow go, like you put it in the scene and maybe it's backwards, and then make them bigger, kind of maybe match up the terrain. And I think I've got a lot of instances. Yeah, I haven't turned them on. Let's just put this to 2. Hopefully I don't crash anything. And so I've got a bunch of rocks as well set up, and I'll probably have to increase the size of those to kind of match, but